and which I'll take you through in a minute. First thing on the agenda is the call to order and determination of a quorum. Justin, that's always your bailiwick. Could you call the roll, please?
Sure. Joe Abdallah,
Here.
Victoria Ceylon, Stephanie Kolnick, Jesse Liebman,
Here.
Angela Macirulo,
Here.
Alex McNaughton,
Here.
Justin Ongley here, Ken Cody,
Here.
Jane Sargent, Pete Tagley, Mary Weber,
Yeah.
and Christine Weidig.
Okay, thank you. And the first item on the agenda is the annual board reorganization, followed by election of officers. The first step is for me to read the board bylaw governing this procedure into the record. That's bylaw 9121, regulating Board of Education officers and the election of officers. The officers of the Board of Education shall consist of a chair, vice chair, secretary, and a treasurer. Such officers shall be elected from the board membership at the annual organizational meeting. We are at that now. The first regular Board of Education meeting held each July and shall remain in office until new officers, are elected at the next annual meeting, unless such officers cease to be members of the Board of Education. If there is a vacancy among the officers during the course of the year, the board membership shall act promptly to elect a new officer to fill the vacancy. The superintendent of schools or designated agent shall call the annual organizational meeting to order and serve as a moderator for the election of the new Board of Education chair at the annual organizational meeting held each July. If the superintendent of schools or her designee is not present, the board will elect a temporary chair by a majority vote. The temporary chair would then preside over the meeting until the board elects a permanent chair. The new chair will take office immediately upon election. The board will then elect a vice chair, a secretary, and a treasurer. The new officers will take office immediately upon completion of all the elections. Board members shall vote by paper ballot, and a majority of the total membership of the board shall be required to constitute election. We do have a quorum here tonight. If there are more than two nominees and on the first ballot no nominee receives a majority vote of the full membership, the nominee receiving the lowest number of votes shall be removed from the list of candidates before balloting again. Upon motion duly made and seconded, an officer of the board may be removed from office by a 2/3 vote of the board total membership voting by ballot. In the case of a tie vote in the balloting for any officer, such tie shall be broken by lot. Having read bylaw 9121,
A question.
yes,
Is basically, are we dealing with 12 people and or if people are absent, is 10 okay?
same question we faced last year. Great question. We need a majority of the quorum here tonight to elect the,
Quorum,
yeah.
not of the full board.
right.
Good, thank you.
And no matter what, we can achieve that here tonight. And if not, we'll talk more, because a majority of the full board would be 7. A majority of 10 would be 6. So we'll see how it goes, Alex, and whether we need to. Good question. Okay. So after reading bylaw 9121, and having read that regulation, now I call the organizational meeting to order and I open the floor for nominations for the Board of Ed chairperson. Yes.
I nominate Jen Pody as chair.
We have a nomination for Jen Pody to be chair. Is there a second for that nomination? Jane Sargent seconds that nomination.
Once again, I have a question. Jan, do you want the job? Would you be willing to do it again?
Sure, if you want me,
Oh.
if
I
everybody,
didn't want to elect you if you didn't want to be.
well, I
do it.
appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate you asking. That's very kind of you. It's a loaded question, isn't it? But yeah, I appreciate you asking. Thank you.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none so far, by statute, I must ask a second time. Any other nominations? And for the record, a third time, are there any other nominations? Hearing none, would anyone like to speak about that nomination, including the person being nominated?
Do I have to speak? I just would like to say that I appreciate the support that all of you give myself and of the board itself. I just think that we have always a lot of work to do, and I hope that I can continue to work on doing better at and always encourage you all to help support me in any way that you can to do that. So anytime that you want to talk to me, I'm here because all of your opinions matter to me greatly. So please know that. It's just, I guess that's all I want to say.
Would anyone else like to speak about the nomination? And it remains the case that there are no other nominations on the floor. I would now then entertain and invite a motion to close nominations and to vote for the board chairperson.
I move to close nominations.
Okay, so that's been moved and seconded. All in favor of closing nominations and moving to a vote for board chair?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, at this time, I would ask board members to fill out the ballot for chairperson that were distributed before the meeting. Everyone should have a color-coded ballot. Please make sure to sign your ballot. When you're done writing in your ballots, the recording secretary will come around to collect the ballots to tabulate. The recording secretary. I think most people are done, yeah. So the recording secretary will now tabulate the ballots and then will then announce the results of the vote.
I have 11 votes for Jen Bodie.
Okay, thank you, Billy. And now I turn the meeting over to our new and continuing board chairperson, Ms. Pody, to conduct the balance of the election.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's done. Thank you, everybody. Again, thank you for what? Yeah, thanks. Thank you. Okay. Next office is Office of Vice Chair. Do we have a nomination?
Jen, I'd like to nominate Angela Machirulo for vice chair.
And do we have a second?
Second.
Great, we have 2 seconds. Moved and seconded. Any other nominations? Gonna offer that up one more time. Do we have any other nominations for vice chair? Third time's a charm. Okay. No more nominations. Is there a motion to close nominations for vice?
So move.
Nan seconded. Okay. So all those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, great. Thank you, everybody. Please grab your vice chair green slip and please make sure to sign it after you write down the person's name. You know what I bet I could do? Why don't I do this? I could do this.
I have 11 votes for Angela.
Thank you, Billy. Congratulations, Angela.
Thank you all. Appreciate
Or
it.
maybe condolences, we don't know.
Would you like to say a speech? Okay. Well, we're thrilled to have you continue. So thank you, Angela. I appreciate it. Okay, moving on now to the Office of Secretary. Do we have a nomination? Angela,
I'd like to nominate, hold on, I'd like to nominate Justin Ongley.
can we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Moved and seconded. Any other nominations for secretary?
You guys sure about that?
100%. Again, any other nominations for secretary? I think we have to say it 3 times, right? Third time's a charm. Nominations for secretary. Okay, so is there a motion to close nominations? Second? Second. Great. So all those in favor of Justin Ongley for secretary?
No,
I'm sorry, voting all in favor
to close
to close
the
the
nomination.
nominations. Thank you. I just switched pages. You sure you want me to do this? All those in favor of closing nominations? Aye. Anyone opposed? Abstentions? Great. Now, let's cast a vote. So much easier if we just did it the other way. I know. Just make sure, again, friendly reminder to sign your slip. It's my fault.
Oh, did you? Another
blue one. I know, it's awkward. Just gotta go here.
We have 11 votes for Justin.
Thank you. Congratulations, Justin.
Thank you.
Thank you for being secretary again for another year.
Let's do what I can.
I appreciate that. Great. So now we are moving on to Office of Treasurer. Do we have a nomination? Do we have a second? Second. Alex, I'm gonna ask you, do you mind that we're nominating you and seconding you?
Step down if someone else would like to be treasurer. And I would not take offense if anybody decides to run for treasurer other than myself. I will do it, but I am willing to let someone else have the honor of doing it. So,
I know, you do a wonderful job.
well,
Thank you for saying that.
otherwise it wouldn't, we need a little contention in this ballot. We're going too smoothly.
All right, does anybody else have any other nominations?
Interested by that.
Anybody else interested? Going once? One last time, is there any other nominations for treasurer? Well, I think it's Alex's lucky day. Okay. Is there a motion to close nominations? Second? Thank you. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Please cast your vote.
We have 11 votes for Alex.
Congratulations, Alex. Thank you. Well, we're happy that you are on board with us again, Alex. So thank you. Okay, so moving on now to the rest of the agenda, which I need to find in I had that somewhere. Here we go. Okay. The consent agenda, Alex. Here we go.
Well, I forgot to bring my copy of the.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, are there any, does anybody have any, objections to the consent agenda? No. No? Okay. So it moves on as is. Thank you. Reports and recognitions. My report is short and sweet since we have not been together since all of the festivities of graduation of 8th grade and of high school. It really was, the high school graduation was a beautiful day. Did we talk about this? I feel like this is deja vu. We did, never mind. I hope everyone's had a wonderful summer. I think that's all I'm gonna say. Keep it sweet.
Same here. Not many updates since last time. You noticed that the driveway is now paved down at the front of Chippewa, and you were still able to drive over it, so that's really good. We had our lead team administrator retreat over the past several days. last week. And we continued to work on our vision for the strategic plan and for teaching and learning and what we're going to prioritize next year. And I appreciate the support of the team in doing that. And our new facilities director is here and on the job, Mr. John Calhoun, that you met last time. And I can tell he's going to be a strong addition to our team.
Great. I do actually have one thing. I am going to pass around our committee sign-up sheet for the year. I'll do it. Well, I just want to say a few things first. Thank you. The only change on here is that we have added communications to policy, just to kind of keep things simple and still streamlined. So if they want to participate in communications as well, feel free to do so. I just did one because I just think it's easier. So if you just want to start from Stephanie and then just pass it around that way, that would be great. And then we'll move on to old business. If you want to do the first reading for policy for.
Yes, and this policy 4212.8, you've seen before last time, but this is technically a first read. You might remember last time we were just getting acquainted with the idea. And again, the problem we're trying to fix is we noted a discrepancy between longstanding practice and also the bylaw that existed under our old set of policies enabling board family members to work here under certain circumstances. But that's in conflict with the Shipman model policy that was apparently adopted wholesale when they all came in. And we seek to rectify that discrepancy. So the suggested fix is there's a red line version of 4212.8 in your folder. And again, the difference is under the section prohibitions on hiring, it will now read no immediate family member of a board member or any other district level administrator shall be hired to be superintendent or a district level or building level administrator. That's the suggested red line. And I would take questions if there are any, but then I guess the request would be to review that and perhaps expect to see it on for a second read at a subsequent board meeting.
Sounds prudent to me, not to mention timely.
Are there any other questions? Sorry, any other questions about? No.
I have a question. So the timing of this policy coming to the board, can you walk me through the history of it?
Sure. And it's hard to know what coincidences might seem, how to tease that out, which I can understand. I came upon the difference some months ago and had spoken briefly to Jen and Justin about it, but just didn't get around to moving it in front of Justin's committee as fast as I should have. And the initial discussions that we had about it in the policy committee, just to make this right, predate any other catalysts that have since come to our attention.
So it did go to the committee already.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
At our last board meeting prior to that meeting.
Okay. Yeah, that's helpful. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And can I have you pass that down?
Yes. Yes. Okay, so can I have a motion for approval of the first read? Second? All in favor? Anyone opposed?
Let me make sure I completely, just so you're asking for the whole history of it. So first it went to the policy committee some time ago for consideration with that
I'm
language.
sorry, done. So some time ago, like months ago, weeks ago, years ago, days ago.
It was before the policy committee meeting that took place before the last board meeting.
When
So
you,
like May, June.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I jump in? for a
yeah,
Yeah.
please.
I know Don and I talked, I want to say like the first week of June.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I think a week after that, we had the meeting in the policy committee.
Okay.
But at that time, I just wanted to share the suggested language with the policy committee. It wasn't even redlined yet, so it wouldn't have been right to bring it to a first read that board meeting. So instead, we held it in abeyance and bring it. This could have been a second read if all that the ducks had been in order then, but they weren't. I wanted to wait for you to have a red line version, which you have now, which that's the way to consider it properly a first read. And if you're in favor of that language, you can review it now. That would lead us to a second read next time. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
I was
Stephanie?
looking at the minutes and it was June 15th.
Thank
We
you.
had that.
And then just to reiterate, this language is just reverting back to the original Shipman language that we had prior to, because I do feel like I remember from years past that being the original language. I wasn't on the board when it made that change. So to me, I recollect the original version looking like that.
That's probably true, but I don't know that. What I know is that this is in line with prior practice, and I know that the old set of policies were from CABE, not Shipman. And there's an,
Original set,
yes,
1998.
yes, the artifact that supports that idea is the accompanying bylaw that survived that says in the middle of it, whenever a board member's family works for the district, the board member shall recuse themselves from any votes relevant to that. So that those are the breadcrumbs in the artifact that creates the discrepancy from what we used to have and what this new policy, probably without really reviewing it, although I wasn't here at that time, was just put in.
Now, this is when I get a little, but there was also in 2019 during COVID, there was an additional change to the policy where, or part of that policy of hiring where students or because or is that separate from the nepotism?
I don't know, but I understand that from what I see in the pre-existing bylaw and what I know about the history of practice here,
That was a separate thing. That was separate because I think I'm getting confused.
that this would bring us back in line with how we've operated. And the big question is this how the board wants to operate going forward? That's why it's up for board consideration.
Mhm.
My feeling, as long as any potential conflict recuses themselves, I see no reason why a sister, child, parent shouldn't be allowed to work at the school.
I feel like we should promote that.
You want to, you can talk. Yeah.
I feel like that's something we really should promote as a board. I mean, it shows that we really believe in this school system and want to bring our students through.
Mary.
When I was on the board years ago, the board chair had his wife worked for Gene Horrigan. She was his secretary, and all he did was recuse himself from any votes that we had on the secretary's contract agreements, and that was the only thing he had to do. So it would be the same, I would assume.
Okay, so I think we'll just start again because I think it was abstentions that I did. So we'll just start again. So can I have a motion to accept policy 4212.8 nepotism for first read? All in favor? Anyone opposed? And I am abstaining, so. And we have no new business. And can I have a motion to adjourn? Great. So I think we can go back to summer. Stephanie, did you want to say something? No. I think we can go back to summer. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.